Russia's economy is in free fall, and the situation is becoming increasingly dire. With a staggering 1 million people fleeing the country in search of a better life, the implications of this economic collapse are catastrophic. Join us as we delve into the shocking reality of Russia's economic decline and the dramatic consequences it's having on its citizens and the world at large. Putin's economic policies refer to the set of economic strategies and policies implemented by the Russian government under the leadership of President Vladimir Putin. Since Putin came to power in 2000, he has introduced several economic policies aimed at modernizing and diversifying the Russian economy. These policies include increased state control over strategic industries, tax reform, and investments in infrastructure projects. One of Putin's most significant economic policies has been his focus on increasing state control over strategic industries. The government has reasserted control over sectors such as oil, gas, and metals, which were privatized in the 1990s. The state has also created several state-owned enterprises such as Rosneft and Gazprom, which are now some of the largest companies in Russia. Putin has also implemented tax reforms aimed at increasing government revenue and reducing the budget deficit. These reforms include increasing the value-added tax, raising the retirement age, and introducing a flat income tax rate. Putin has also invested heavily in infrastructure projects such as the construction of highways, railways, and airports to improve transportation and connectivity throughout Russia. Putin's economic policies have had a mixed impact on the Russian economy. While some policies have led to economic growth and increased stability, others have had negative consequences. Increased state control over strategic industries has led to a lack of competition and inefficiencies, which have hurt the overall economy. Corruption has also been a problem in these industries, further hindering economic growth. Tax reform has resulted in a decrease in government revenue, which has had a negative impact on the economy. The introduction of a flat income tax rate has disproportionately affected low-income earners, while the increase in the value-added tax has increased the cost of living for many Russians. Investment in infrastructure projects has led to improved transportation and connectivity throughout Russia, which has helped to modernize the economy. However, these projects have also been criticized for being too costly and for contributing to the country's growing debt. The Russian economy has also been vulnerable to external shocks, such as a drop in oil prices and economic sanctions. The focus on the energy sector has made the economy heavily dependent on oil and gas exports, leaving it exposed to fluctuations in global oil prices. Sanctions imposed by the international community in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine have limited the country's access to global markets, further weakening the economy. Sanctions and international pressure have played a significant role in the current state of the Russian economy. The international community, including the United States and the European Union, has imposed economic sanctions on Russia in response to its actions in Ukraine and other perceived international transgressions. These sanctions have targeted specific industries such as energy and finance and have limited Russia's access to global markets. As a result, the Russian economy has been severely impacted, with falling oil prices and a weak ruble exacerbating the effects of the sanctions. The role of sanctions and the international pressure in the Russian economy is complex and multifaceted, but it is clear that they have played a significant role in its current state. Data and statistics illustrating the scale of the economic decline in Russia show that the country has experienced a significant slowdown in economic growth in recent years. In 2019, Russia's GDP growth rate was only 1.3%, down from 2.5% in 2018. The COVID-19 pandemic further exacerbated the economic decline, with the Russian economy contracting by 3.1% in 2020. This economic decline has had a significant impact on ordinary Russians, including job loss, inflation, and poverty. The unemployment rate in Russia has increased in recent years, reaching 6.1% in 2020. Inflation has also been a problem, with consumer prices rising by 4.9% in 2020, well above the central bank's target of 4%. The economic decline has also led to an increase in poverty. In 2020, an estimated 19.4 million people in Russia were living below the poverty line, which is set at a monthly income of 11,651 rubles, approximately $157. This represents an increase of 2.3 million people compared to the previous year. The economic decline has disproportionately affected certain groups in Russia. Young people have been hit particularly hard, with youth unemployment reaching 20.5% in 2020. Rural populations have also been disproportionately affected, with lower levels of investment and fewer job opportunities outside of agriculture. The decline in the Russian economy has also had political implications, with some analysts suggesting that it has eroded support for the government and contributed to social unrest. There are a variety of reasons why so many people are leaving Russia, including economic, political, and social factors. One of the primary reasons is the economic decline and lack of job opportunities. Many Russians are struggling to make ends meet, and the prospect of better economic opportunities abroad is a major draw. Political factors are also a significant factor, with some Russians leaving due to political repression, lack of political freedoms, and concerns about the government's direction. There have been high-profile cases of political dissidents and journalists fleeing the country in recent years, as well as concerns about the government's increasing control over the media and other aspects of society. Social factors are also contributing to the exodus, with some Russians leaving due to concerns about societal issues such as racism, discrimination, and intolerance. In some cases, members of the LGBTQ+ community have left due to persecution and discrimination. The experiences of people who have left Russia vary wildly, with some leaving for economic reasons and others for political or social reasons. Many Russians are choosing to move to Western Europe or North America, attracted by the economic opportunities and political freedoms offered in these countries. Those who have left Russia often face significant challenges in adapting to their new lives. Cultural differences, language barriers, and other issues can make it difficult for them to integrate into their new communities. Some also experience discrimination and prejudice due to their status as immigrants. Despite these challenges, many Russians are still choosing to leave in search of a better life. The mass exodus of people from Russia has significant long-term consequences for the country, including brain drain and demographic shifts. Brain drain refers to the loss of skilled and talented individuals, such as scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs who are leaving Russia for better economic opportunities and political freedoms abroad. This loss of talent can have significant economic and social consequences for Russia, limiting its ability to innovate and compete on the global stage. In addition to brain drain, the mass exodus is also leading to significant democratic shifts in Russia. Many of those leaving are young and well-educated, which means that the country's aging population is becoming even more pronounced. This demographic shift could have significant implication for the country's social welfare system, as well as its ability to sustain economic growth. The mass exodus may also have political and economic implications for Russia's future. As the country loses more and more of its young and talented individuals, it may become more difficult for the government to address its economic and social challenges. The loss of so many people may also contribute to a sense of disillusionment and apathy amongst those who remain in Russia, further eroding support for the government and limiting its ability to implement reforms. In addition, the exodus of people from Russia could have implications for the countries that are receiving these migrants. The influx of talented and well-educated individuals could help to boost innovation and economic growth in these countries, while also contributing to demographic shifts in their own societies. Overall, the mass exodus of people from Russia is a significant trend that is likely to have far-reaching consequences for the country's future. As more and more people leave in search of better economic and political opportunities, Russia's ability to compete on the global stage may be limited, and its economic and social challenges may become even more pronounced. While there's been ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the vast majority of people fleeing Russia are not doing so because of this conflict. Rather, the reasons for the mass exodus of people from Russia are primarily economic, political, and social, as outlined in our previous discussions. It is worth noting, however, that the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has had some impact on migration patterns in the region. Some Ukrainians have fled to Russia as refugees due to the conflict, while others have left Russia due to tensions between the two countries. However, these migration patterns are relatively small in comparison to the overall trend of people leaving Russia for economic, political, and social reasons. Overall, the situation in Russia serves as a reminder of the importance of sound economic policies, political freedoms, and social stability for the well-being of citizens and the future of a nation. It is our hope that by shedding light on these issues, we can contribute to a more informed and engaged global community.